Hello, you all. Today we will continue with the earlier class just by giving a refresh on what we discussed earlier. So, we discussed the general definition for systems. We know that system is nothing but a collection of several elements put together. They collectively function to serve a particular objective. And we have discussed control systems. Suppose if you are having a system, then if you want to control or maintain a particular parameter of your interest in a system, then that mechanism will be called as a control system. We have discussed earlier, and the various types of control systems: open and closed, manual and auto, SISO and MIMO, linear time invariant, linear time variant, feedback, feed forward, positive and negative feedback systems. These are various ways in which you can classify the control system. In the earlier class, we have discussed that without the feedback, if the output is directly controlled by controlling the input, then it will be called as a open loop system. But on the other hand, if you are using a feedback like shown here in this slide, then it will be called as a closed loop system. And we have also discussed the differences which are important between open and closed loop system. With the inclusion of the feedback, the system will be having a high chance of getting unstable by the introduction of oscillations. That is the drawback of a feedback control system. And auto correction is also possible in case of closed loop, while it is not possible with the help of output. All these things we have discussed in the earlier class. Now we will discuss the basic difference between manual and automatic control system by taking again the example of a car. So this picture here shows, first one, this one shows your manual closed loop control systems. Now your output is the speed that you want to regulate, and by having a close watch on the speedometer, you will be able to have a status of the actual speed that is maintained fed back to the input side. And the human factor, that that is a driver, he will be always noticing what is the present speed. And suppose if the speed is now 50, and if you want to set the desired value to be 100, then he will make a decision by taking the error between the indicated speed, that is 50 again, the error is 50. So he will try to apply more pressure using his leg on the accelerator pedal, driving the engine back to 100. So here we are using a manual, that is a driver, and you are using a feedback, hence it becomes a manual closed loop feedback control system. Suppose if you see to this diagram, we can clearly observe that there is no human factor here. Whatever work that is to be done by human, that is being taken care by this error detector and the control element. These two will be joining together to form the human factor there. So this type of control system will be called as automatic control system, and such automatic control systems are required. Suppose for example, if you want to launch a self-destructive missile, then in that case we will not want to use a human factor. So the work whichever is to be done by human will be done by the combination of the error detector and the control element here. Let me grab this. And this symbol summer will be nothing but an error detector, and here the output side you will be having controlled variable, and input you are going to set the reference. Now whatever may be the present status of the output, that you will be feeding back to the input side via the feedback path element. and accordingly the error detector will be calculating the error. That error will be acting as an actuating signal which will be setting the plant back to the original status. So this type of system will be called as automatic control system. The terms that are involved are the output, that is control variable, the input, that is your reference input, and this is your feedback that is being fed to the error detector. The combination of the error detector and the control element will be replacing the human factor there. And the advantage of this automatic control system is you will be able to achieve more complex functions that are actually cannot be performed by a human factor, that also can be performed by this error detector and the control element. Now we have seen so many different types of feedback systems, like a car or a suppose another example also I will like to give in terms of a traffic control signal, where suppose if you are not considering the traffic congestion at that particular time, simply if you are glowing red, yellow and green lights for 5 minutes regardless of whatever may be the traffic conditions, that will be called as an open loop control system. Suppose on the other hand you are taking into account what traffic is present at that particular situation, and then accordingly if you are taking a decision to control the glowing of lights, then it will be called as a closed loop control system. Now this is example for feedback systems, but the problem with the feedback system is suppose if you are having a running track where an athlete is making a run, suppose if he is made to run backwards then to the target point, that is the final winning point, then if he is running backwards, if there is a U-turn, he won't be able to understand that there is a turn coming over, and he will not be able to adjust his position. So this is what a feedback system looks like. It can't adjust with sudden uncertainties, and only the output, whenever it changes, that signal will be conveyed as a feedback. So we are able to adjust the parameter, regulate the output parameter after it has made the changes. So these are the drawbacks and the features and the effects that we observe with the common feedback system. Now let us see the specialities of a feed-forward control system. In feed-forward control system, it's like a running forward mechanism. So whenever a U-turn comes for an athlete in a track, then you will be able to understand there is a turn coming over, so you will be adjusting his position again and you will be continuing his run. So this way it's possible to predict the future uncertain factors and automatically correct the output before the changes in the output occurs. So that's the speciality of feed forward. Let me explain the same with the help of a diagram. So I have drawn two diagrams here. Both refers to the boiler that we are having in a thermal power plant, and here the controlled variable is steam pressure, both cases. So if you are setting the reference point as 100 Pascal, but at present it is not 100 Pascal, if it is 80, that has happened, it has decreased. Reference is to be set at 100, but it has decreased. So after it has decreased, the information is fed forward to the input side. The error will be 20 and the control element will be actuating again the boiler to increase the steam pressure. So this is your feedback system. It is like running backward mechanism. So only when the output status has changed already, then only the status is being conveyed to the front side to make the automatic correction. But if you see to the feed forward, suppose if the changes 80-degree decrease has not yet occurred, that can be predicted by having some sensors placed inside the boiler itself. So when the steam is coming out, before it comes out, in the boiler itself, we will be able to sense that the steam pressure is going to go down. Then it will be feed forward to the control, thereby again even before it occurs you will be able to automatically correct it. So this is the advantage of having a planned feed forward mechanism. Now we'll discuss, we have finished off classifying all the control systems. SAS1 MMO I will give details LTIV and LTV systems when I am dealing with equations and derivations correspondingly. Now let us discuss how to derive the mathematical expression or mathematical model or transfer function of any system. We are being given in syllabus that we ought to derive the mathematical model of an electrical system, mechanical system, both translational and rotational, and electromechanical systems, that we'll discuss. And before going to the derivation part, we need to know what is actually a mathematical model. So I've already discussed in earlier class what are the different types of systems that you are having. So if you are assuming an idealized system, if you are making some assumptions, you are assuming that the system is linear for one particular study, then you are making some idealization. So the idealized model of a system is called as a physical model. Then to that physical model you are going to apply some basic physical laws. Suppose if it is an electrical system, you will be applying KVL, KCL. Suppose if it is a mechanical system, then you will be applying Newton's law. So such laws you are going to apply on the physical model, and the resultant will be some mathematical expression that will be called as a mathematical model. So in the next module we will be discussing how to derive the mathematical model for a mechanical translational system.